Hello everyone, it's Carrie, and today I'm working on a Meeshell Mermaid doll from Ever After High. This is an introduction doll to my new fall line called Tattered Fairies. At the time I'm recording this video, she's already sold, but I have a couple of new fairies that I added to the Etsy shop, and the link to the shop is in the description box below if you're interested. So the Meeshell Mermaid doll used to kind of intimidate me because of the smile she has, but a while back I used this doll for my Tank Girl custom and used the smile to my advantage. I decided to give her a really smirky look. I do have that video in my list if you're interested in watching the Tank Girl face-up video, or I'll try to remember to leave an iCard or a link in the description box below. So when I decided to start this collection of fairies in tattered clothing, I thought it would be cute to make the first doll have sort of a sneaky expression. So I pulled out another Meeshell Mermaid from my stash. But this one I wanted to kind of push it a little bit further and make it a little more silly looking and make her kind of look like a sneaky little mischievous fairy. And so the expression I wanted reminded me of The Rock from wrestling and the actor Dwayne Johnson and how he does the people's eyebrow. So I used a few pictures of The Rock from the internet to kind of help me get this expression. And you should check out my Instagram post where I have them both next to each other. I have a post where I have this doll and The Rock right next to each other, and after I finished it I'm like, wow, they do kind of look alike. So as usual, I started out with a few coats of Mr. Super Clear, and then I started to sketch in the expression immediately, like I said, using those reference photos. So once I had the sketch, then I started my usual laying in the eye color and the waterline and doing a little bit of shading around the nose and the eyes, and then onto the lips. Once I finished like one coat overall, as far as like the eyebrows, the nose, shading, the lips, the chin, the eyes, base color, kind of push it as far as I can go without needing to erase, then I'll do a couple more coats of Mr. Super Clear to save my work so that if I start sketching over top of it, I can erase if I need to. I'm using my pan pastels with some colorless blender and some white on the bottom lip for a highlight. And just adding some overall highlights with my white watercolor pencil. I'm using this micro brush to kind of smooth out the lines or just blend it a little bit better. I don't like too many harsh lines when I do the highlighting. So I'm doing a lot of shading on the lips because I really wanted this expression with her lips to have some character and dimension. So sorry about my hair in the picture. I like to get really close to get some of those little details to make sure that I capture everything I need to, and sometimes my hair gets in the way. Sorry. So I added a couple of lines above the eyebrow just to really accentuate that rocks people's eyebrow look. So it was a bit challenging to do the eyes because I wanted to make sure that they were symmetrical as far as each iris and pupil being the same size, but it was difficult to do because one of the eyes, of course, is squinted, so you only see part of it. So I had to kind of pretend in my mind that I was making the full circle, if that makes sense. I'm using about 3 or 4 different shades of green here and blending them a little bit with some white. I like to think that the top of the eye is sort of shadowed by the eyelid so that the bottom of the eye would be a little bit lighter and brighter and you can see the color a little bit better. So that's why I'll leave the bottom part of the iris a little bit lighter and blend it out with whites some more than the top. Here I'm adding some blush. First I add it and then I blend it out with some colorless blender and a Q-tip just to give it a more natural look. And I sharpen up some of those lines with some black watercolor pencil on the eyes. I want to make sure I have enough layers of white before I do my final sealing. And I'll always go and give a few coats of Mr. Super Clear, well, about 2 or 3 coats before doing the eyelashes. And that's because if I put on the blush, I don't want to, if I have to erase one of the eyelashes, I don't want to ruin the blush that I did. So I always want to make sure that I seal the blush before doing the eyelashes. Doing some shading with my new favorite watercolor pencil, and that was the Derwent Watercolor in Chocolate. It's so dark that it's almost black but not too black, so it really helps me put in some lines and make them not too harsh. I use my Faber Castell Aquarelle watercolor pencil for the eyelashes almost exclusively because it gets like a nice hard tip and it doesn't break, and it can make those lashes extra fine. Just using some acrylic craft paint for the highlights in the eyes and some little highlights on the cheeks. So here is the skirt that I made to go with the Tattered Fairy collection and for this particular doll. There's lots of little bits of vintage and new lace and ink dyed fabrics and some little bell details, little charms. There's a little bell on the end of a piece of fabric that I cinched up, and little buttons and other details. Little collages of fabric and fun little threads. This is a little Harry Potter charm that I had, so I decided to add that as well. And all these little bits and pieces are just so fun to play with and hold in your hand, and I just love their texture and just such pretty textiles. I had so much fun making this whole collection. So I'm using some jump rings to add a little charm to, I'm sorry, how many times can I say the word little, but everything's so little and dainty. But I'm adding a charm to the wings. And as you can see there, the corset has a small magnet on the back, which is how it attaches, the wings attached to the corset. So before I go, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my subscribers. We're currently at about 2,600 subscribers, and that just blows me away. Thank you guys so much for watching and all of the sweet messages I've been getting. Everyone is leaving such nice comments, and all of the likes are really appreciated. Everyone's been so sweet, and I've really been enjoying making these videos, so I hope to be able to continue sharing more content like this. So as always, if you like this video, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!